Right now, wildlife officials closely watching a Boulder neighborhood where a mama bear and her cub are in a tree. And this is playing out at 11th and Aurora, a few blocks north of Chautauqua Park. 7 News reporter Tyler Lopez just arrived at the scene. And Tyler, what are wildlife officials telling you now?
Definitely drawing a lot of interest and a lot of concern, Christine. They're watching this bear, the two bears, and they're hoping that they leave on their own accord. But I'll try to give you a live look. Even though they're in this tree, this spruce tree behind 11th Avenue, or 11th Street, I should say, there's been a lot of movement. It looks as if the bear is trying to move away from the sun. So as we take a look at the bear and what we believe is at least one cub in that tree, I want to talk to Jennifer Churchill with the Division of Wildlife, Parks and Wildlife. Thanks for joining us right now.
Yes.
The idea here is to try to wait them out. You really don't want to scare them or make them come down.
No, at this point, actually, we are dealing with a near-tagged bear. So this bear has been around town eating a lot of trash and teaching her young cubs that as well. And so that's a real concern for us at this point. We want to make sure that this bear stays safe. She's pretty close to good bear habitat, and if we have an opportunity to kind of push her that way, we'll do so. But for now, we'd really like to let her sit here for a little bit and wait it out.
It seems as if you've got other officers here that it's possible this bear could have been drawn by the trash.
Absolutely. You know, we have a really serious problem throughout the foothills and in a lot of bear habitat where people leave trash accessible to wild animals like this. And unfortunately, when you have a situation with a bear like this teaching her young that behavior, that's when we have bears that wind up getting into trouble. They become a nuisance and become aggressive on occasion. So it's always a concern for us when bears are getting most of their meals out of trash instead of in the natural areas and natural food sources.
Let's take a look again and see if we can actually get a shot of Mom and the cub. Now, we know this bear is roughly 175 to 200 pounds.
Yes.
It's a sow with at least one cub, but we believe, though, that there are two cubs, both around 40 pounds?
Yes, actually. In the recent days, this bear has been seen with her two cubs. So the other cub may be up there. Sometimes it's hard to see. They hide pretty well, and sometimes they actually sit really close to each other. You can't tell. But we also have another bear that's been around in town as well, an adult male, that also seems to be very acclimated to eating food out of trash and getting into trash in the area. And we did move him, and he came right back. Same
to
with
Wyoming,
this bear.
right?
Yeah, we moved him pretty far. So we need people to understand that once these bears really get so comfortable and think that this is their home, they're going to want to live in your backyard and eat trash. And that's unfortunately not a good proposition for a healthy bear.
So again, the idea is we're hoping that this mother and at least the one cub that we can see at some point come down from this tree and choose to leave to find their bear habitat to the south, to the west, to get away from town, because if you actually have to touch these bears, you're going to have to put them down.
Yes, unfortunately, that is our conflict policy. And when we have a bear that really starts to make a home in town, that bear isn't going to last very long because it's going to be a problem continued, and it could become a public safety issue. So,
and if you take Mom down, you have to do the same.
Yes. Unfortunately, a lot of times we do have to put cubs down in a situation like this. They might not make it on their own. The problem becomes that they actually haven't been weaned long enough to be able to exist on their own. So this is a really tough spot for us to be in. And we think people in Boulder really love the wildlife, and we need them to really step up their game and clean up their trash. Boulder does a great job of doing so. The city's great at trying to make sure they're ticketing folks who are doing the wrong thing. But everyone needs to really take stock and understand this is about the life of bears, and people can do the right thing.
And this is when they're hungry. They're getting ready for hibernation, so it is likely they're trying to take in more calories. So we'll stay in Boulder hoping this bear and the cub choose to come down and leave on their own. Otherwise, as you heard, it could be a tragic ending to all this. Live in Boulder, Tyler Lopez, 7 News.